What's going on, everybody? Back again with another video, and this time we are looking at the Dan Wesson TCP 1911. Now, there's a lot that I want to talk about when it comes to not only this particular 1911, but kind of why Dan Wesson is in a very unique position as a manufacturer for 1911s. So I'm going to show you guys a little comparison to just kind of showcase a point that I'm going to make about why these are special. We'll kind of get into why I selected this particular one out of the Dan Wesson lineup. This is not my first Dan Wesson. I'm a huge fan of their 1911s. I've had several to date, and this one happens to be one that I feel is the perfect carry option if you're thinking about carrying a 1911, and we'll get into the reasons why. Let's start off with just kind of the overall TCP lineup and what that is all about, and what makes this unique or different versus the other Dan Wesson 1911s that you may come across. So first off, this is a 45 ACP. Dan Wesson does make a variety of different 1911s that are in different calibers. So if you are a 10 millimeter 1911 kind of guy, you definitely do have some options, some really nice ones with Dan Wesson. If you're a 9mm guy, you got tons of options there as well. But this is a 45 ACP traditional. That's just kind of how I wanted to carry a 1911, is just in the traditional 45 ACP, more stopping power, and just a little bit more peace of mind when it comes to making sure that that big bullet that you're going to be using is going to be effective enough, because you do have a limited capacity, whether you go with a 45 or a 9mm or even a 10mm. So with that limited capacity, you want your shots to count if you're using it for defensive situations, and specifically if you're carrying a loaded firearm. Obviously, you want something that's going to potentially save your life, and I've just felt like the 45 just gave me a little bit more confidence so long as I make my shots. So that's a whole other story. And that just comes down to your practice, obviously, and how good you can get yourself to be with whatever pistol you're carrying. And I would argue that even the caliber debate is a moot point, because if you're effective with whatever pistol you happen to have and you're most trained with, the most effective carry firearm, I would argue, is the one that you are most accurate with. It doesn't matter what caliber it is. So, but with that being said, I personally love 45s. I've always had a knack for just kind of going out and collecting 45 pistols and shooting them more often than I shoot any other caliber. So it was a natural thing for me to go with a 45. But this particular Dan Wesson, what makes it appealing to somebody that wants to carry is, first of all, it is a commander size. So commander size typically is 4 1/4 inch. This one's actually a 4-inch even barrel. So a little bit shorter than what you'd get with your typical commander, but it's a perfect profile. It's got a aluminum frame here. So the slide is still steel, but the frame is aluminum. And some people I know kind of hesitate at the idea of having an aluminum framed 1911, but let me tell you, when you're carrying this thing, it makes a world of difference, and we'll get into that here shortly. So it's got a beautiful stainless bull barrel. So obviously with that bull barrel, you get better accuracy, you get better effectiveness when it comes to not worrying too much about overheating of the barrel causing point of impact to shift, and you do get longevity with the bull barrel. So you also have, as I mentioned, an aluminum frame. You do have a little bit of pick rail here. Now, if you're the type of purist with 1911s that does not like that little bit of pick rail at the bottom, you can opt for the ECP, which is pretty much the same gun, but just without the rail. So there is that option for you as well. The grips that are on here are G10 grips. Probably my favorite part about this pistol, and the reason why, if you can see here, you've got kind of a taper on this end, and you've got a taper on that end, and then you've got a flat center over here. These are already thin G10 grips. So these are thinner than what you would normally get out of 1911 grips to begin with, but they also taper out at the ends. So when you're getting your grip on this thing, it's the first thing that you notice when you pick this gun up is how good it feels. It's a combination of things. First of all, you have the milling that's been done over here on the frame itself. You've got this beautiful texture over here that's just right. It's not too aggressive. It's not too fine. It grips into your hand very well, but it doesn't eat into it. Then you also get the shape and the actual material, the grips, and how that feels when you're gripping it. You could wrap your entire hand around this thing. It feels very comfortable. Obviously, with any 1911, just because of the thinness of the grip and it being a single stack, that typically is the case where a 1911 feels in hand typically better than most other polymer or even steel framed pistols do that have double stacked magazines. So that's one of the many benefits of a 1911, but then take this up to the next level, because what you're getting with these thinner grips, and not just the thinness of them, but the actual contour of the angled sides over here, is you get the perfect wrap around this thing. It's just a perfect grip. It feels amazing. And the weight itself, I mean, this is still not a light pistol by any stretch. It's still going to run almost 3 pounds, but it just feels so balanced. It feels so nice. Like, it doesn't feel front heavy. It feels like basically all the weight is like right here, which is exactly where you want it to be. It's so nice to hold. I can't explain enough how nice it is in hand. When you first look at it, you're like, it's a nice looking 1911, right? But there are tons of nice looking 1911s. But then you put it in your hand, and even if you felt a million 1911s, you're like, holy shit, this is actually a very, very nice feeling 1911. It feels solid. It feels well built. Every angle of the grip, every contour that you feel, everything just feels right. I don't know how to explain it except for that. It just feels different. You do get this flat aluminum trigger over here, which is very, very nice. So as with just about any 1911, all right, you've got this very, very crisp pull. So you got just a millimeter or two of take up, and then boom, nice and crisp. And look at this reset. Oh, Jesus. I mean, it's like you barely can lift your hand before it starts to click. So, I mean, it's just, it's gorgeous. The hammer, obviously skeletonized here, nice and lighter so that it can make that throw quicker. It's all kinds of beautiful. The beaver tail, I mean, everything about this setup right here is perfection, especially when it comes to making it your everyday carry. All right. Now the sights, as you can see over here, you've got some serrated rear sights, nothing too crazy, but you do have a very unique feature here at the front. So at the front, you don't have a night sight, you don't have a fiber optic. What you do have is a brass bead, much like a shotgun, and very unique. All right. So I don't know if I like that or not, to be honest with you. I mean, it's easy to pick up in the daytime, obviously, or if your lighting conditions are ideal, it's perfectly fine. And there are people that even prefer a completely blacked out front sight post. I typically like to have something that's a little bit more, contrasting right here at the front. Even if the rears are blacked out, that's fine with me. If I've got one point of reference here at the front that I can make out very quickly because it's nice and bright, that's fine. And this bead is fine in the daytime conditions. However, obviously, if you're carrying this at night, that's going to be what poses a concern. Hence why I needed the pick rail right here, because I felt like it was going to be absolutely necessary to have a flashlight on this thing. So again, it's not a big deal either way, because these are going to be removable and replaceable sights. It's just a unique and very different decision that they made with this front sight post being a brass bead. So take that for what it is, or for what it's worth to you. For me, not too big of a deal, again, because I am going to be rocking this thing with a flashlight. But if you're not going to be doing so, if you're going to be using this thing, just or carrying it without any type of accessories, or if you opt for the ECP, I'm not sure 100% if the ECP comes with the same front sight post, but just be aware of that and make sure that you're conscious of that when you're making your decision on whether or not to purchase one of these. It comes with 2 mags. They're stainless steel. They are excellent. Dan Wesson mags are always reliable. Very nice quality, really well built, solid. So nothing really crazy one way or the other to discuss over here. They are 8 round magazines, and obviously you could fit one in the chamber. But outside of that, there's really nothing crazy to discuss about the magazines. Now, I already discussed some of the things that make this so unique, but I really need to show you guys an example, another example, in order to kind of put it in perspective. Now, first off, before I go there, one thing I kind of just did, but I didn't really talk about, is the slide to frame fit is incredible. It's a very stiff and a very, just really well made slide to frame fit over here. And you can tell when you're racking it, there's no wiggle, there's no play. It's straight back and straight forward. And it's butter, all right? It's butter, but it is tight, all right? It's like you can definitely tell the precision when they, CNC'd the slide versus the frame. And what makes that even more impressive is the fact that they're not the same materials. The fact that this is steel and then this is aluminum makes it that much more impressive as to how they're able to get that finish or that fit to be so precise. In order to demonstrate why this is, in my opinion, the best brand of 1911s that you can get that's not custom. So if you're talking, Ed Brown's, Les Baer, if you're talking about Nighthawks or Wilson Combats, those are in a different league, okay? But believe it or not, the league that they're in versus the league that this is in, which is its own league, there's nobody else that shares this league with Dan Wesson. It's not that big of a difference. It's a bigger difference going from this league to this league, all right? Now, this is another 1911, another nice one, all right? And let me just bring it here and kind of focus on here for a sec. All right, so this is the new Springfield Emissary, and this is also the Commander size. This is a full steel 1911, also a 45, also an 8+1 capacity. There's a lot of similarities. It's also got a flat bow trigger. Trigger on this one is polymer, whereas this one is aluminum, but that doesn't really matter. This one's got a really nice feeling grip as well. Very unique texture that they've put on the back strap here and on the frame on the front. It feels very, very nice in hand. It's got a really grippy texture on here. So even without, these are not the grips that come with it. These are the rail scale 1911 grips, the Ascend grips. But even the grips that come stock on the Emissary are very, very nice. And it gives you a nice solid grip in the hand. It's got really nice machining. It's got a really nice slide. But there are a few differences that you notice right off the bat. So when you look at this bull barrel, this has also got a bull barrel. Very nice feature for a pistol that is priced where this one's priced, and this one's priced around $1,100 or $1,200. So very fair that you're getting all this, all these extras basically with a $1,100 to $1,200 1911. Now, when you look at this bull barrel though, you're going to notice that it's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but I'm going to try my best to show you guys. So it's not a flush fit. So it does protrude just a hair outside of the slide. All right. Not only that, but the edge of the barrel is kind of unfinished. It's like almost like a raw cut. Now, obviously it's not a rock cut, it's been finished, but it still has a fairly sharp edge that just looks unfinished, okay? Here's another thing. Now, if you look at the back of the slide over here, you're gonna notice that the frame to slide fit, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, there's not a visible gap really. You can't really tell, but it's tight. It's a very tight 1911, all right? Very tight. So even there, it's not exactly the concern. The concern is, and you'll kind of see right here how it kind of gets stuck a little bit just here at the end of that cycle. But anyways, you'll notice here that the little extractor port, if you look at the side over here, you'll see how much it sticks out right there. And you'll see also the slide itself right here. You could see it kind of sticking out beyond the frame, okay? So it's not a flat surface anymore, not even flat surface, but it's not a flush surface anymore. You've got this thing sticking out. You've got like a jagged little shelf over here between the slide and the frame, and it just feels unfinished. Now, again, this is a $1,200 pistol, so you expect certain things like that. Same thing here with the guide rod. You could tell that it's kind of deep in there, and you could tell like the slide is still got about a millimeter or so of lip right here. So it's just unfinished, right? That's the best way I could describe the difference between, you know, a production 1911 and a custom one, is that the production ones just don't feel like they are finished. They feel like they are raw and kind of right off of an assembly line and not really looked at from the perspective of, is this thing perfect? Okay, they don't care about perfect. They care about getting these things out in large numbers for obvious reasons. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But this pistol right here, it's not that much more expensive. All right, we're talking $1,500, $1,600 for this. Look at the difference here. All right, now look at this bull barrel. Look at the little bevel that they've placed all around the edge. Look at the finish in terms of how close they got the barrel to be flush with the slide. All right, so look at that bevel. You can see right there in the light. And then again, it's almost perfect. Look at the back end. All right. Again, the slide to frame finish or fit is perfection. There's no gap in there. But then all this other stuff too, it's been finished. All right. There's no gap. There's no hard edge to catch on your finger here. Everything is perfection. Can it be even more perfect than this? Yeah, it could be a Wilson Combat or a Nighthawk, you know, that you're going to end up buying for twice as much. Literally a $3,000 to $4,000 gun. That'll be perfect. A Les Baer is not that much better than this thing in terms of quality, and they're still going to cost about an extra $1,000. So what you're getting with the Dan Wesson 1911s is the closest damn thing that you can get to a custom 1911 that doesn't cost custom money. And that's why these, I don't care which model you look at for the Dan Wessons. I've heard, certain rumors about some of the finish that's had rusting issues and whatnot. I've never seen that. To be honest with you, this is my first non-stainless finished Dan Wesson. So whether or not I'm going to end up with any type of problems with this finish is yet to be seen. However, I'm not somebody that is negligent when it comes to his firearms. I always take good care of them. If I do bang them up, scuff them up, I'm not going to just leave it like that. I usually clean the crap out of them, oil them, even get them, remachined if I need to. But if you're the type of person that worries about, just kind of manhandling your guns and you want a finish that's going to last a lifetime, I can't tell you based on experience whether or not this black finish that they use on the Dan Wessons is going to be up to par with, you know, DLC coating or something like that that's, you know, on other pistols. But I can tell you that everything else that Dan Wesson does, everything is top of the damn line. So it's silly to me to think that the finish is what they're not getting right. Maybe it was just a stroke of bad luck with a few folks, but you know, other than that, I could tell you right now, whatever model of Dan Wesson you end up buying, I promise you, you're going to pick it up and you're going to compare it to another 1911, compare it to a Colt, compare it to a SIG, compare it to a Springfield, anything you want to compare it to, and I guarantee you it's not going to be a contest there. The Dan Wesson is going to be superior 99% of the time. All right. Again, when it comes to this particular TCP, now, if you're looking for a carry pistol, again, that aluminum frame makes a world of difference. Now, this thing being an all steel frame, it's like an extra pound over this. And it doesn't sound like much, but when you're carrying it around all day, unless you've got one of the strongest belts I can imagine, it's going to start, you know, really feeling chunky and heavy as you start to, you know, have it on you for more than a couple hours. Whereas this one, you could literally forget you've got it on you. Awesome, awesome pistol. Can't say enough good things about it. Anybody that's looking at 1911s, consider Dan Wesson if you haven't done so already. With that being said, everybody, make sure to leave your comments in the comment section. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be in tune with the next video that's coming out. I will see you guys in another couple weeks. Everybody, take care.